Të nderuar kolegë deputet, i nderuari zotëri John Mccain, senator i Senatit të Shteteve të Bashkuara të Amerikës, i nderuari kryeministri i Republikës Kosovës, zotëri Isa Mustafa, zëvendës kryeministra dhe ministrat e kabinetit qeveritar, të nderuar kolegë deputet, i nderuar ambasador i Shteteve të Bashkuara të Amerikës, zotëri Greg Delavi, e nderuara përfaqësuese e Bashkimit Evropian Zonja Natalia Apostolova, të nderuar ambasador dhe përfaqësues të misioneve diplomatike në Republikën e Kosovës, të nderuar qytetarë të Republikës së Kosovës, të nderuar të pranishëm në këtë seancë të veçantë, e hapi seancën e Kuvendit të Republikës së Kosovës të thirrur me rastin e vizitës të senatorit amerikan zotriu John Mccain me rend dite. Adresimi i senatorit amerikan zotriu John Mccain, deputetëve të Kuvendit të Republikës Kosovës. Para se të japim fjalën senatorit John Mccain, për nderë të senatorit, do të mbajnë një fjalë hyrëse të seancës. Faleminderit shumë. Shumë i nderuar musafir senator zotri Mccain. Vizita juaj sot në Kosovë përbën një festë të lidhjes së fortë midis Shteteve të Bashkuara të Amerikës dhe Republikës së Kosovës. Është kjo një lidhje e pathyeshme dhe e rrënjosur thellë në historinë tonë të përbashkët. Shtetet e Bashkuara të Amerikës zgjodhen të mbështesin Kosovën gjatë betejës sonë për pavarësi dhe ka mbetur e përkushtuar që vit pas viti të përkrahë zhvillimin dhe rritjen e shtetit tonë të shenjtë. Marrëdhëniet Shtetet e Bashkuara të Amerikës Kosovë janë të thella dhe kanë vijuar përgjatë qeverive të shumta të Shteteve të Bashkuara të Amerikës dhe të Kosovës. Kam qenë i nderuar të jem lideri parë nga rajoni që takoj presidentin Trump dhe jam ndjer krenar nga fjalët e tij në mbështetje të shtetit tonë të pavarur dhe sovran Kosovës. Në emër të qytetarëve të Kosovës, ju lutem, i shpreh mirënjohjen time dhe të Kuvendit të Republikës Kosovës presidentit Trump për mbështetjen e tyre të vazhdueshme. I nderuari senator Mccain, ju keni qenë një zë i fuqishëm dhe i qëndrueshëm në mbështetjen që keni dhënë. Fjalët tuaja në Senat qëndrojnë edhe sot e kësaj dite dhe me këtë rast po i citoj fjalët tuaja. Të gjithë anëtarët e Kongresit duhet të bashkohen për të mbështetur përmbushjen e hershme dhe të plotë të misionit tonë në Kosovë. Kongresi duhet të tregoj vendosmërinë dhe besimin e një superfuqie, kauza e secilës është e drejtë dhe e domosdoshme. E mbyll citatin e juaj. Më të vërtet, senator Mccain, kauza e lirisë së Kosovës ishte e drejtë dhe e domosdoshme. Dhe veprimet e Shteteve të Bashkuara të Amerikës, pra superfuqisë më të madhe atëherë dhe tani, kur nuk do të harrohen në tërë Kosovën dhe rajonin. Ndërsa vendi ynë po zhvillohet, unë shpresoj se ju do jeni të pajtimit se ne ja kemi dalë, që ta shpërblejmë këmbuljen dhe përkushtimin tuaj në jetësimin e misionit Amerikan me veprimet tona duke përfshirë edhe ndërtimin e shtetit dhe bashkëjetesën. Kosova gjithmonë do të jetë një simbol i një demokracie të vërtet në rajonin e Ballkanit, ku qeveria jonë është e qytetarëve dhe për qytetarët. Kosova gjithmonë do të jetë një simbol i përpjekjeve për liri dhe drejtësisë në Evropën juglindore. Kosova do të jetë një simbol i fuqisë, vlera dhe vullnetit të mirë të miku tonë Shteteve të Bashkuara të Amerikës. Pra do të jetë një shembull i përkushtimit tuaj për njerëzit në nevojë në mbar botën. mund të mos ketë simbol më të madh të Amerikës dhe vlerave amerikane se sa ju, senator Mccain. Me lejoni tani, do të i drejtohem senatorit Mccain me një fjalë në gjuhën angleze. Senator Mccain, your service to your country at home and abroad is an inspiration to all of us. You have served in the military on uniform and in the politician's uniform, you know, blue suit and red tie. You have served in a way that put the people of America before the politics of the day. A good lesson for many of us here in this room. The people of Kosovo deserve a bit more Mccain-style straight talk from their politicians. Senator Mccain, please know that we are thankful of your efforts to support U.S. allies like Kosovo. We do not take your support for granted. We are honored to host you here in Kosovo, even briefly. Kosovo will be a strong ally to you and your government and a good friend of all Americans forever. Thank you very much. Faleminderit shumë. Të nderuar të pranishëm, të nderuar qytetarë të Republikës së Kosovës, kam kënaqësinë që në emrin tim dhe të deputetëve të Kuvendit të Republikës së Kosovës të falenderoj senatorin amerikan John Mccain për gatishmërinë e tij për t'ju drejtuar deputetëve me një fjalë e rasti. Andaj me kënaqësi ftoj senatorin John Mccain që ta merr fjalën. Urdhroni i nderuar senator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Prime Minister, and dear friends, for the kind reception, for the honoring of addressing this assembly. If you'll indulge me, I'd like to tell a brief personal story about my family. And I'm very aware that one of the great figures of our time and all time is Mother Teresa, who found her calling in a church here in Kosovo. 24 years ago, my wife was in Bangladesh and was visiting Mother Teresa's orphanage. And Mother Teresa came to the meeting with 2 babies and said, "You must take these babies. You must take them or they will die." My wife took both, brought them. Both of them had life-threatening illnesses. My wife took them to the United States. A couple friend of ours adopted one, and the other is our daughter Bridget, who we love dearly. And every day we thank Mother Teresa for enriching our life so much. So. My friends, I'm here after visiting Slovenia, Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Montenegro. After my stay here, which I admit is far too short, I will visit Albania. As I travel through southeastern Europe, my message is simple. The United States' commitment to a Europe whole, free, and at peace remains ironclad. And my friends, a strong, democratic, multi-ethnic, and independent Kosovo as a full member of the European family is essential to the success of that vision. You may have heard that we occasionally have some disagreements back in Washington. In fact, we're going to make, anyway. But I want you to know, I seriously want you to know, that members of the United States Congress in both political parties are fully committed to working with you to support peace and prosperity in Kosovo and throughout the wider region. Indeed, The United States' commitment to Kosovo has been bipartisan from the very beginning. I have many fond memories of the 1990s working closely with then Democratic Senator Joe Biden to push for a coherent U.S. strategy in the Balkans, for swift and decisive action to stop the bloodshed in Kosovo, and ultimately for Kosovo's independence. And today it gives me great pride to stand before you on my first visit to Kosovo since your independence and to bear witness to the remarkable progress that you have made. In the past 9 years, Kosovo has adopted a constitution and built a government from the ground up. Kosovo has been recognized by over 100 member states of the United Nations. It has joined international organizations such as the IMF and the World Bank. Kosovo has made progress towards some of its most important goals, including integration into the European Union, integration of Kosovo Serbs into Kosovo's institutions, and normalization of relations with Serbia through the EU-facilitated and U.S.-supported dialogue process. I particularly want to commend Kosovo's efforts in the fight against terrorism. I believe your country has not received the credit it deserves for the proactive approach it has taken to countering violent extremism. Legislation passed by this Assembly has helped stem the flow of foreign fighters to conflict zones. In 2014, Kosovo police have arrested approximately 120 individuals suspected of supporting terrorism. More than 30 are on trial, and several cases have been successfully prosecuted. Just last year, Kosovo authorities helped disrupt a terrorist plot against a soccer match between Albania and Israel. Kosovo is all in the fight against terrorism and showing the kind of contributions it can make as a full member of the family of nations. For all the progress Kosovo has made, there's still much work to be done, but in this work, you will not be alone. The United States stands ready to support you to meet the challenges and seize the opportunities ahead. If you will permit me, as an old friend who wants to see Kosovo succeed, I'd like to share with you my hopes for Kosovo's bright future. I hope that Kosovo will continue down the path of European integration. The signing of a stabilization and association agreement with the European Union in 2015 was the first step. Now is the time to continue to the march of progress. I share President Tachi's view that approval of the border demarcation agreement with Montenegro and the EU visa liberalization would represent a strong step toward Kosovo's European future. I hope that Kosovo will achieve even higher economic growth that will extend opportunities to more of Kosovo's promising youth and allow them to lead lives of purpose and fulfillment in the country they call home. In a global economy where investors have choices about where to place their money, corruption and organized crime will only hold Kosovo back. That's why reforms aimed at strengthening the rule of law are so essential to realizing Kosovo's economic potential. Likewise, energy security is a necessary ingredient for economic growth, which is why the United States will continue to support the Kosovo Sea power plant. I also hope Kosovo will continue to play a strong role in advancing regional security. As Kosovo confronts emerging and growing challenges, I believe KFOR will continue to play an important role in backstopping security and stability. At the same time, Kosovo works to strengthen its security architecture. Moreover, I am committed to doing everything I can as chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee to ensure the United States provides the support and security assistance that Kosovo needs. Ultimately, Kosovo's long-term security is rooted foremost in its political and security relationships with the United States, NATO, and other international partners, which are underwritten by shared democratic values and adherence to the rule of law. That's why it is so important that the transformation of the Kosovo security forces to the Kosovo Armed Forces take place through constitutional amendment. This is a sovereign decision that only the people of Kosovo must make for themselves. As President Taci has stressed, this, quote, should be a gradual, inclusive process with the engagement of all communities, including Kosovo Serbs. Done this way, I believe transformation to the Kosovo Armed Forces over the long term will advance Kosovo's progress, bolster its international legitimacy, and ensure its future access to military assistance. Finally, I believe that Kosovo's future peace and prosperity depend on the success of the EU-facilitated and US-supported dialogue on normalization of relations with Serbia. This is difficult but important work. I know this dialogue has not always moved at the pace we would like, but thanks to the commitment of your President, Prime Minister, and Speaker, as well as their counterparts in Belgrade, it has led to significant progress. My message to you is the same as the one I delivered to Serbian Prime Minister Vučić earlier this week. Advancing the EU-facilitated, US-supported dialogue is in the interest of Kosovars and Serbs alike. It is vital to Kosovo and Serbia's shared European future, and it is essential to stability in southeastern Europe. I know that there are some who believe that Kosovo and Serbia will never normalize their relations and that the path of reconciliation may be available to some nations, but not yours. Not in Kosovo, not in Serbia, not in the Balkans. But I urge you to reject such fatalism. I know that for so many people in Kosovo and Serbia, the pain of losing loved ones to violence and war is not written in a dark chapter of the distant past, but carved into their hearts forever. I would never presume to fully comprehend their grief or understand the complicated history of their stories. But I do know something about the horrors of war and the pain of loss. I know that reconciliation is enormously difficult. But even more importantly, I know how it can liberate people and nations to achieve things they never dreamed possible. 20 years after the end of a long and bloody war that claimed the lives of 58,000 Americans and more than 3 million Vietnamese on both sides of the conflict, the United States and Vietnam normalized relations. If you had told me the day I left Vietnam in 1973, or for that matter, many years afterwards, that today Vietnam would be one of the United States' most important and most promising emerging partners, well, it just shows that reconciliation is possible even after one of the most bloody conflicts. But it isn't easy. Reconciliation is a deeply personal process. It was a long and difficult road for me and for so many others. But ultimately, we realized that we should never forget our past. Nothing was to be gained by reliving it, and that the only hope for realizing a more promised future for both our countries was to build it together. There are countless reasons why the story of the United States and Vietnam is different from the story of Kosovo and Serbia. But what I believe these stories share in common, and what gives me hope for the people of Kosovo, is the tremendous human capacity to overcome, to heal, to reconcile. So yes, I hope for a brighter morning for Kosovo, that you will be able to come to terms with a painful past, that you will refuse to look back in anger, that you will be able to lay down the heavy burdens of history, that your Serbian neighbors will find it in themselves to do the same. But let Kosovo be the nation that shows the world again that reconciliation is possible. And as you do, Kosovo walks this long and difficult road. You will not walk alone. America and I will be with you. Yes, we will be with you in the nations of Southeastern Europe for the simple reason that my country ignores this region at its own peril. Before coming here to Kosovo, I traveled to Sarajevo. I stood at the foot of the Latin Bridge, where a single event changed the world, where an assassin's bullet triggered a cycle of violence and war that consumed the first half of the 20th century and consumed Southeastern Europe again in its final decade. It was a stark reminder of the old adage that while history does not repeat itself, it does rhyme. There is no denying the fact that this region, which sits at the crossroads of history, confronts increasing tensions. Together we must answer the question, will we allow the past to define our future, or will we choose, informed as we are by the lessons of history, to define a new and better future for ourselves and our children? I have come to Kosovo to say, I believe we must and we will choose that new and better future. Thank you very much.
Falenderit shumë, Senator Mccain, në emër të popullit të Kosovës dhe të Kuvendit të Republikës së Kosovës. Me kaq e mbylli këtë seancë të veçantë, mirupafshim në seancën e radhës.